Glad you're okay.
Jeff Davis here with you. Welcome to the program.
Tonight, I want to speak with you about our nation's unprecedented response to the coronavirus outbreak that started in China and is now spreading throughout the world. Today, the World Health Organization officially announced that this is a global pandemic.
Gina Carano's Cara Dune won't return for future seasons of the Pedro Pascal-led series The Mandalorian, or for any other Star Wars project for that matter.
So, in my opinion, was it not a good post? Yeah, absolutely. She shouldn't have shared that. But I don't think exactly what she's being called out and canceled for is really what her purpose was, in my opinion.
Stranger things, everyone wants more. All we can do is wait for time that it might be fun to read every comic and book in what I call the Stranger Danger Book Club. Stranger Danger Book Club. Book Club. Stranger Danger Book Club.
Stranger Things fans, I want to thank you for continuing to subscribe and listen to this podcast. I want to take a quick moment to tell you how I make this podcast. I use a tool called Anchor. And if you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. Number one, it's free. That's pretty awesome right there. But number two, there are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. Okay, Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, basically anywhere podcasts are available. Have I mentioned again that it's free? Oh, and you can actually make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast. Oh, and one more time, it's free. Download the free Anchor app right now or go to anchor.fm to get started. You could have a podcast tonight.
Hey guys, welcome back to AnyCast. In today's episode, we will be talking about the loss of Oswald the Lucky Rabbit and who he is in the first place. Stick around until the end so you can hear me review in detail his first cartoon. With all that said, let's look at Oswald the Lucky Rabbit.
How are you, man?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good.
All right. How's the scooter accident going?
Oh my God. Well, it's my hand is feeling a little bit better, but it's like still sore.
Yeah.
My arm, it doesn't really hurt anymore, but I can like you like kind of like still feel like like the stress on it a little bit, but I'm not really gonna
Yeah.
force myself to do anything I can't do.
Yeah. Well, I think that you know, just get a bike and go be
Yeah,
a scooter kid.
that's the plan. Hopefully, I get one by the end of this month.
Yeah. That really does suck though. Um.
I'm just glad nobody saw me. I looked around when I got up and I was like, "There's no cars, there's nobody on the sidewalk, but somebody could be looking through their window right now."
Yeah.
And they would give my chance. I mean, I didn't give me any time to recover. I just like got up and kept going like nothing happened.
Yeah.
I was like,
I
I'll be
can't.
fine.
Yeah. It's the evil scooters. You know,
Yeah.
man. All right. So, welcome to AnyCast. Um. Thanks for coming on. Um. You're my first guest actually on,
Oh man.
so that's pretty. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I think this one first too, so it'll be
Oh
uploaded
my
on
heart.
Monday.
I'm scared.
Yeah. Welcome on back, everybody, to AnyCast videos. Today was supposed to be the debut of my movie, Indoor Order. But I have some bad news and good news. So, when I was in the editing room and like looking over the stuff, what we had as finished product and all that, I was looking at it and I realized that I did not like it. I didn't like the finished product. As you can see in the trailer, there's literally moments that I couldn't even fix where the like camera was too zoomed out or too zoomed in, and that was other stuff with the zoomed in. I don't think it was on the trailer, but the zoomed out definitely was on the trailer. And so I was looking at this stuff, and I go to youth group and I'm talking to my director, and he asks me, it's like, hey, if you want, we can reshoot scenes and all this. Like, you cut out a lot of story and dialogue, and I wrote the script and all of it, and I was doing the edit, and I made the music tracks. It was all good to go, but everything there was a lot of things that felt off, and it was not the finished product I wanted. So today, as you'll see in the, as you've already seen with the episode title or video title, today is a very amazing interview that I actually recorded. But before I get into that, let me explain what the plan for this film is. So I just said we're gonna hold it off. We're not gonna release it for probably 6 months. It probably will not come out until 2023. Now, I say 2023 for a lot of different reasons. One of which, one of my main actors, he is not gonna be nearby us for 3 months. And that's a huge time gap, right? And that 3 months is summer for me. And as much as I'd love to film in summer, and as much as if like he didn't go there, we might have been able to release it in like September. but it's okay because I can film some other things without him in summer, write my script and all this stuff and re-go through it. I was already polishing up some of it. But the good news, I guess, of this is not only the vision for this was a trilogy. The Order trilogy is what I was going to call it. We had Endor Order, and we have Dark Orders. And then probably I would name it like the third one, New Order, or Final Order, something with order. I was gonna make the Order trilogy, and I was gonna have me be in it as the main character. Well, actually, it's complicated. Yeah, me as main character, I guess, and then my buddy, co-host Isaiah, as a second main character. And since I'm holding it off, I realized that I can actually combine parts 1 and 2, End Order and Dark Orders, together to actually make a cinematic film. This film, I anticipated the first part to be about 20 minutes. It came out to about 10. But while writing the script and everything and going back to reshoot the first film, it'll actually probably be 20 with all the things I want. Plus, we will probably get a 40 to 45-minute film for part 2. So I'll just throw it in as a giant cinematic masterpiece. The best that I can get to a cinematic masterpiece. And so if I were you, I would count on the movie probably coming out like Christmas this year, literally Christmas Day, or if anything, New Year's Eve. And I'm not gonna like wait until 11:59 p.m. No, I would debut it like, I don't know, early that morning, so you guys have something to do, like New Year's Eve. Some people do some stuff and others don't. But expect it early 2023 or 2022. So the window would be December 25th, 2022 to, I'd say, like mid-February 2023. And I know that's like a really, really long wait, and we're only in June right now. But actually, when this is going to come out, it's the day before June, I think. Yeah, no, 2 days before June. So that's a big gap. But you'll get updates on the films, the big one. And then, of course, once we have those two shot and ready in 2023, you're probably going to have to wait until 2024 for part 3, because I want that to be a very good ending. And I have this like entire vision for it and everything. Filmmaking is a long process, and we only had 11 minutes of actual footage, and we spent about, I'd say, maybe like 4 or 5 hours filming, and we got 11 minutes of footage out of that. One, we aren't that experienced of actors, so we had to become experienced as much as we could. 2, you got to get all these different angles. It's like something like every 10 to 6 seconds, or maybe like 30 seconds, people like check out. Maybe it's 15. Every 15 seconds, if you're just looking at this angle, you're gonna check out. If it's just me talking like this and you see nothing going on. But then if I'm like this and you see moving and whatever, there's a lot of different things with filming. I was making music because I didn't want to get copyright struck. I was writing the script, and I'm going to do all that for the second. First, assemble a cast, work on that a little bit during summer, mostly during the fall and winter. But yeah, I'm excited for those movies to come out. It's really fun actually making a movie. it's really fun making a film. It's amazing. But yeah, without further ado, now you'll be viewing literally one of the deepest and most meaningful interviews I've ever had on the podcast, or the first on YouTube actually. And I am interviewing a leader. I'd say she's the best leader in my life that I see on a day-to-day basis. That I actually personally know. And I'm surrounded by a lot of leaders, but she shows me what real true leadership is and how to lead in certain situations. So, without further ado, enjoy this amazing interview on leadership and church. And wait for those films. All right, so welcome on back to AnyCast. I'm going to classify this under any religion because a lot of the things we're talking about today are about like leadership and religion. But yeah, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, yeah. My name is Rachel Parsons. I don't know how to introduce myself. I feel like I would typically introduce myself as like saying I'm a leader at Elevation. But I guess that's what I am. I'm a youth coordinator at Elevation. So
Yeah, Elevation Valentine, best campus out there. And yeah, I've only been to 2, but it is the best. So all right, guys, welcome on back to AnyCast. And also, Liam, you gotta shout out your show because this is on your show also.
Welcome to Random with Liam. Today it will be a Pixar movie tier list with Liam and Peyton.
Yeah, so today it's the very first podcast collab. I've had guests on in the past, but this is the very first other podcaster out there. So, Liam, do you want to tell us a little bit about your podcast and what that all is about?
Yeah, so on my podcast, I talk about a tier list of stuff, like some horror stories, like video games, and I just talk about everything random. And sometimes I will have guests on, sometimes not.
Yeah, and I've listened to all your episodes, and together I think it's an already 60 minutes of content. So that's pretty cool. Like in 2 days, you got 60 minutes of content out there. But yeah, it's a really cool show. I remember you texted me last night about your podcast, and I listened to it and I shared it with my friends, and it was the candy one. That was really fun though, like as a first episode. Yeah. And then the scary stories with Disneyland, that was a lot of it I knew, but some of it I actually didn't know. So it was pretty cool. But today,
Yeah, the most famous ones on that were the Deborah Stone and the single rider at, I forgot what ride it was. Space
Yeah.
Mountain, Space, whatever. I forgot.
Yeah. Well, you guys, we made it. It is episode 100 of AnyCast. Thank you for being there for me, listening to all the content that I make, whether it's just a podcast or a YouTube video. This is the 100th episode of AnyCast, 1 week before the celebration of the 1 year anniversary, which is really wild to think about. When I started this podcast, I didn't think that I would get 100 episodes in 1 year. When I started the podcast, I did not even think anybody outside of the United States would listen to this thing. and yet it's reached many different countries, including Germany, the Philippines, the UK, and so many others. Mexico, I think Canada. I'm not sure about Canada, but it's reached a large amount of people. You guys always enjoy my episodes. Some of them you guys enjoy way more than others, and I think you guys will really love this one. I'm honored to bring on my great friend, a great guy who has mentored me for the past year and almost a year and a half now. I met him in October of 2021, and this man has been a friend to not only me, but my entire family. He has helped us in many ways. He's just a great guy. So, without further ado, let's listen to AnyCast episode 100 with Pastor John Rush. Alrighty, guys, welcome on back to AnyCast. This is episode 100. Today we are joined by the greatest COD player on the East Coast, a great pastor. We are joined by Mr. John Rush, the most faithful Vikings fan out there. But yeah, how you doing, bro?
I'm great. I'm excited to finally be on this auspicious podcast, and I'm honored to be on the 100th episode.
Yeah, dude, it's wild. Right now we are in a room at Elevation. It is the 17th year anniversary, and it's been a day. It's been a really cool day, getting to see everything that our church has done and God's done through it. And today we're going to be talking a little bit about Elevation and what John does for a living.
That's great. I'm excited.
So, I guess, it's all good. I guess the first question I have for you is, why did you become a pastor?
Well, I think I became a pastor initially because I didn't know what else to do after high school. And at the time I was really involved in church. I gave my life to Jesus when I was 16, my junior year. And church had become a huge part of my life, and I didn't know what was next. I knew I would have hated college. I was thinking about going to the military. I was trying to pursue being an esports athlete, but at the time there's not a lot of as much opportunity as there is today. And my youth pastor said, "Hey, you should come to this ministry school and train to be a pastor." And so I took a step of faith and kind of just never stopped.
That's wild. So you've always been, I guess, a gamer at heart, which is like a huge thing that you believe in, is that we can utilize gaming. There's a lot of parents still to this day who are like, gaming is evil, it's ruined my child, which, to a degree that can be true if your kid gets addicted to that. But, if you balance it off and you put limits, you believe that through gaming we can bring kids to Christ, we can just have meaningful relationships with them. So why do you pursue that so much? Like the entire esports being a part of Elevation Youth? Life can be uncertain. Life can be joyful. Life can be hard. Life can be peaceful. Life can be all of this and more. Every year, there is a tragedy. With that tragedy comes worry. But we have to look for hope. I had a dream that started in late 2019 of giving the world a place to escape. It was ignited in 2022. If you have an idea, go for it. What's the worst that can happen? You don't like it? Then you move on. You're not successful? Try harder. Switch it up. I started AnyCast as an escape from the world, a place where people could learn things and be entertained at the same time. As the great Stan Lee once said,
If you have an idea that you genuinely think is good, don't let some idiot talk you out of it.
And, as Walt Disney famously remarked,
"During the last few years, we've ventured into a lot of different fields, and we've had the opportunity to meet and work with a lot of wonderful people. I only hope that we never lose sight of one thing, that it was all started by a mouse."
The journey isn't over yet. We have a long way to go. There are stories to be told. This year I am releasing 2 more films and a horror anthology series, along with a Christmas special. I'm just getting started, and I believe that you can start your dream now.